Hello and welcome back to War Thunder. There has been a bit of a reset, a bit of a update to War Thunder, this time adding new tanks. Now, to start off, we still have only the Germans and the Russians, but we have higher tier vehicles. So to start off, here are the Germans. First we have the PZ-3 Ausf M, the PZ-4 Ausf H, and the Jagdpanzer IV. Oh, and the Tiger, most of all. Now, as you can see, the model details are still just as high as the last were, but now we have more complex models, which really show off how well the detailing has gotten, and there's a bit less grime to some of them, except the Tiger. So, with the update and the higher tier vehicles, come a lot of changes with them. Just as in World of Tanks, there are some changes in gameplay between lower and higher tiers. Of course, the T-34 seems to look about the same as it was before. IS-1 with the 85mm. The Su-85 with, again, the 85. My personal favorite, the KV-2. And the T-34-85. So, I guess to start off, I will show you the Germans, because everyone has been waiting on the Tiger. Now, along with this, they have also included a new map, which I will hopefully be able to show you now. Okay, so we're back in the battle. Unfortunately, we seem to have the old map, but I will hopefully be able to show you the new map when I show you the Russians. Now, first of all, there are some differences in gameplay between the lower and higher tiers, as you would see in World of Tanks, but they seem to be less drastic. First of all, the reload times do seem to be longer depending on the tank, and the heavy tanks don't seem to be as slow. This being the Tiger, most of all, does not seem to be as slow as the KV-1, and it seems to catch up to the mediums almost. But you can clearly see the downside in the fact that the reload times have been increased by a very large margin, which I will hopefully show you very soon. Now, let's just take a look at the detailed modeling. You can see tracks, as well as a bunch of little doodads everywhere, which is unlike the World of Tanks model, which is pretty basic.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
Okay. Now, just like in the last one, camping seems to be very, very valid. Maybe I'll have to show you the Tiger again some other time. But I feel like this shows a bit of the difference in gameplay between World of Tanks and War Thunder, is that in War Thunder it's much easier to camp because you can see the full way of the map. This means that you, well, can camp all the way across the map and still hit targets. Which brings me to my next point. Guns seem to be a lot more accurate than in World of Tanks, which I know some people will like because RNG has screwed a lot of people, but it does help in the fact that you're shooting at pinpoint targets at pins meters, not meters, kilometers away. and it unfortunately makes it very hard to move around. Although it is discouraged to camp, as you do have so... God damn it. You do have so many tanks that you can use. And it is a bit harder to hit moving targets than it would be in, say, World of Tanks. And, as you might be able to notice before I die, the the damage models actually are working as though they would in World of Tanks when the Havoc will be implemented. So you can actually see some of the... Sorry. You can actually see some of the fuel tanks or some of the parts of the turret just launch off. Ooh. But, yeah. What was I saying? The problem with this game is that, currently, is that it is very easy to one-shot other tanks, and you can also see tanks from further away, and you're more accurate. This means that camping is a lot more valid, and it's more widely used because of that, which is unfortunate. As you can see, I just died killing 2 tanks. These 2 guys are still here. And now this is hurt. Which just goes to show how much, well, camping there is. Which honestly makes me actually prefer having the artillery in the game now, because it really discourages it when people have it, as you can call in artillery to stop the camping sometimes. Again, the recharge time is very long, and I mean, it is, but it's the fact that it is very hard to move across the map without getting shot, and, well, one shot, as you saw in the Tiger. Now that leads me on to another thing. What's still a bit weird is the, how tanks are, for lack of a better word, slippery while driving. Which is very weird, because you would think a multi-ton tank wouldn't really slip all that much, although be very hard to get going. More planes. This one roll. Okay. No bomb. Anyway. Oh, hey, the back of my turret ring's gone. Oh, he's dead. Now, brawling is still a lot of fun, although you can, as you saw before, it is very, not wonky, but awkward. Now, if you can see the Tiger's reload time, which I unfortunately could not show you in this, it is much, much longer, which is why he is having a very troubled time taking us both down. Although he has a lot of 10, a lot of armor, he can't quite reload fast enough to kill us. Which is unfortunate. Him, although very good for me. Until he knocks out my gunner and everything else. Looks like I'm a TD now. Oh, okay, good. He's dead. But yes, one of the other things that I forgot to mention is that because the maps are very much open and don't lead you in paths like the World of Tanks maps do, they have it has a tendency to cause more camping, but more so you feel like you have like too little of a what do you call it? You feel like you have too little of a FOV, field of view, because you will be shot from any which way. You will not see it coming, due to the fact that you can basically roam anywhere, which is both nice and bad. It's, again, something that you have to pick your poison about. Oh, Lord, we're all still there. Yeah. One thing that I haven't seen a lot of is, you would think people would be a little bit less careful as they were in World of Tanks, as you do respawn, you have extra tanks. And, in fact, the battles end so quickly, you probably won't even go through half of them. Which, again, is both good and bad. You can still play through one entire match with your favorite tank, but it doesn't allow you to go through all of them and see a lot more variety, as people will be forced into their lesser tanks. People will be forced to using lights and having a little more tactics into their loadout, the timing of their loadout. So we are back in the TV, in the Jagdpanzer 4 to be exact. This does carry the 88mm. Don't want to go down there. And as I've seen, it remains true that TDs do have a higher rate of fire to compensate for the fact that they do not have a turret. More accuracy is debatable, because I haven't actually really missed due to RNG, only due to my own incompetence. So, I don't know. It's, again, it's this pinpoint accuracy at very long distances, and this camping that I've been very much hating, for, again, lack of a better word. Ooh, perfect moment. Let's just get set up. Now, tanks do seem less wobbly at higher tiers, or maybe due to update. Which could be true, because I don't remember seeing parts of tanks fall off after shooting tanks earlier. But, again, there were less extra pieces that didn't really matter on those tanks at the time. Oh well. Oh, good shot. That's my death. Oh, unless he can help me. Yep. Again, it's very much... I don't know if it's well-placed shots, or just random at this point, because it's very iffy. But being taken out in a single shot is very, very common. Now, one other thing that has been seen is that you cannot tell a tank by its color, just like in World of Tanks, as you will have multiple different types of colors. You will have to actually use the old eyeball for that one. Which, again, is fine. But just a couple more differences between this and World of Tanks. But, again, one of the weirdest things is the least slippery tank, again, slippery, like sliding too much, seem to be the ones that you think would slide the most. i.e. the lights, because when I go fastest with the lights, it seems to remain in good control. Maybe it's a balancing thing because of that, because it is a light and cannot combat other tanks as easily. But I seriously think that the slipping is a bit too much, although it is probably combated by the driver's skill, which allows them to drive the tank better. Anyway, so the skills for your crew are still the same. I still have not seen the machine gun been used yet, which is shown here. Hopefully that will be implemented soon, so I can show you. Again, unfortunately, I couldn't really show you the Tiger, but I will be switching over to the Russians just so we can get a full view. Now, again, the Russians have a couple more tanks, although they all seem to have about the same gun, which... So they all act very much alike. The T-34-85 and the IS-1 do have a very close playstyle, with the IS-1 having a bit more armor. Yeah. As you can see, it does have extra armor. It's at less of an angle, though, so it isn't that big of a difference. Now, the gun that's actually very different seems to be the 152, although, again, it is very different, but not as different as, say, World of Tanks would be, where your playstyle is completely changed due to it. This, it's just slightly changed. The reload time seems to be the same as the Tiger, which they both have a very long reload time, but it's only in comparison to other tanks in this game, which have a very short reload time in comparison to World of Tanks. And even then, the KV-2 in World of Tanks has almost a 25 second reload time, which is much longer than anything you'll see in this game, unless you have a dead loader and damaged ammo. So let's get back into the KV-2. Unfortunately, we do have the same map again. I would like to show you the other one, but it is much of the same in the fact that it is fields and very open, but it is very different in the fact that there are more undulations in the land, more hills, more rocks to cover you, and it gives a bit of a different feeling off. It feels more brown, which is unfortunate, because this field looks very lively, it's very green, which is very nice. Hopefully I will not get one shot this time as I try leaving the cap, as I would really like to show you the KV-2. This being one of my favorite tanks in World of Tanks, it does hold a special place in my heart.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
Okay. Also, one other strange thing is that the turning while moving is just not like... I mean, it is supposed to be less effective than being at a stationary position and turning, but it just seems to be overdone a bit, especially compared to when you're at a full movement and turning, where you seem to slide and just lose control of the tank. Now, again, because tanks are much more accurate in this game, sniping with the 152, definitely possible. And by possible, I mean, you should probably do it, as the gun does a lot more damage, although it does have less pen. I also believe it does have... Oh, this is the first time I've seen this happen. Wow, okay, looks like the engine is not strong enough to get up the hill. That's unfortunate. And see, it's a bit of this where it's like trying to change gears, but never just quite seems to. As it'll just slowly turn. Again, it's a bit of a preference sort of thing. Because it does seem a bit more realistic, but it also makes the gameplay a lot slower. Which, again, needs some more camping. But, I'm probably complaining too much. It is a heavy tank. It's not moving too quickly. Okay, so let's get to the battlefield before the battle actually ends. Which, again, very much a possibility, as the battles do seem to go by before you can really get through your tanks. Ah, yes. Juicy tiger. Hopefully I can get a shot in before he kills me. Nope. I guess that shows the depression still is very much a factor in the game, as it will cripple some of your tanks, such as that. Oh, wow, this is amazing. The two tanks I wanted to show off most are the ones I do the worst in. Okay. That's exactly what I wanted. Let's see if anyone's camping today. Yep. That's a lot of them.
Ready! The driver has been wounded!
Oh, and the turret's broken. One of the things that I do have to say is the turret drive does seem to break a bit too often, as you just can't really do very much. It's one of the only things that I say breaks a little bit too much. Maybe that and the gun, which, again, is something that I keep comparing this to World of Tanks, but it's the only game that I can really compare it to. It is very much something that World of Tanks, they tried to keep from happening, is everyone running around with a broken gun, broken turret. I mean, it is very much easy to shoot at tracks. Oh my god, I believe I'm lagging, or else this tank just goes really fast, which is kind of strange. Okay.
Enemy forces have captured a zone.
I believe he is stuck. Oh, never mind. Nope, doesn't matter. Oh, that's actually very nice. Although the damage model seemed to change there seem to be parts missing, so when it's destroyed, it's not like the same model every time like it is in World of Tanks. It is instead just discolored to show you that it's destroyed. Which is actually very nice. I like that they put that in. Oh, and he's dead. Again, very random. Earlier I have to shoot a tank 15 times. I can't actually do very much of any damage. But these, I seem to be able to just one-shot. Oh, there we go. Let's move on to the IS-1. Now, it very much has the same gun as the T-34-85, but nowhere near the mobility. And by nowhere near, I mean pretty near. It's not that much slower. Although, It's not that slower in more of an agility, sort of mobility-wise, but in top speed it is definitely slower. And by mobility I mean turn rate and acceleration. It seems to be worse, but not by that much. It's just the top speed isn't lacking, which, as you saw earlier, I was able to get to about 56 kilometers per hour. Here I can only hit about 40. Okay, so back into the thick of things. Seems we got a T-3485 unaware of us. Give me a surprise. Okay, and that's why I love this game. That was amazing. Just visually, that was amazing. Oh. I haven't even spotted that guy yet. Okay, Tiger. Probably not the greatest idea. Something directly. Shite. That's not good. Can't bring that. Surface unit destroyed. Okay. See, this is what I mean by luck. Sometimes you get all the luck, sometimes you get none. And as you can see, the load time is definitely less than it was in the T-3485, as well as the... Oh, well, I haven't showed you SU-85 yet, but when I do, it will become clear that the reload times are definitely a balancing definitely a balancing parameter that they use on the tanks, just as in World of Tanks. And it seems to work the same way, in the fact that heavy tanks will have the slowest, then the mediums, then the TDs. Lights, well, they have a lesser gun generally, and the reload time seems to be on par with the TDs. I seem to not be able to turn the gun. That's not good. Oh, I'm a TD again. There we go. What is this? Also, the slight movement seems to be making it very hard. Oh, she's dead. And second place, not bad. So again, the upgrading system is the same. It does take more points at higher tiers, as usual. So, I guess my conclusion is, although I've been harping on the parts that I dislike, it is still very fun. It's... I don't know, I felt like it was faster before, and by faster, I mean like faster than World of Tanks, which I very much liked, as you do have the respawn system. But it seems to be slowing down, just as it did in the higher tiers of World of Tanks. And I'm not sure if it's by tier, or if it's by the updates in the game. Overall, it's still extremely fun, and it's beautiful. But, well, it's beta, and it's on its way. So that's been another look at World of Tanks. I will try to get another video out faster than the next update. And I will show off the KV-2, SU-85, and Tiger in the next video. So, until next time.